what a day. What a day. What's up, guys? Episode 39 of Talking Shit. That means I've done 39 of these. Maybe more because I didn't label them properly back in the day. But before I go too far into it, sound check. Doing a sound check. Check, check. Check, check. Let me drink into the mic for you ASMR queers. You like that, you fucking sick fuck? Oh, yeah, take that. What's up, YouTube? Corrupt anti-free speech. As long as you guys can hear me, I'll start my long-winded bullshit when it comes to prepping for Texas 2K. Prepping for Texas 2K was just an insane amount of work. So the Fairmont was basically created, right? The reason the Fairmont was even a thing was after Texas 2K last year. I didn't have a vehicle. The Fairmont wasn't ready. And I was, the 2 years I went before that was with the red car. And I was really disappointed because to take that car to the next level, meaning eights or deep eights, it would have required tens of thousands of dollars. Between breaking shit, between the rear end upgrade, it needed a G-Force 9-inch like you read about. It needed a whole bunch of stuff to make it a reliable 8-second car at 3,900 pounds. And I said, I am not about that life. I'm not about that life. Now, people are already asking, what's the next step for the Fairmont? People that watched my last video pretty much found out that I am going to get rid of the blower. I'm going to get rid of the blower in the Fairmont for a couple of reasons. That fucker needs to start making me some income, because I love the car. I've thrown a bunch of blood, sweat, and tears into it, and money, a lot of money, because it takes a lot of money to make. Even if it's a Fox body. Like some people say, oh, that combination's so easy. Just throw a blower on a Fox body in 8 seconds. Okay, with a 6R80, and all that tuning and suspension that needs to happen, it's not as easy as it sounds. It sounds easy, sounds cake, but once you actually get into the nitty gritty, it sucks. So the blower is going to come off, and what is the next step? Well, I'm going to keep that a little close to the vest, but I don't think I'm going to go turbo just yet, because turbo means, okay, let's say this weekend. Now, my goals for this weekend is to run quicker than an 850, right? When 8.7s, my goal is to go 850, 840. I hope the car stops. Basically, try to get that car to go 850, 840 consistently. Cut a 1.1 or 1.12, low 1.2, high 1.1, and that is literally goals accomplished. I cannot go to the next level with that car, meaning the next level, meaning low 8s, high 7s, without throwing another, here we go again, 5, 6, 7, 8 grand at the car. Parachute. Suspension work. It's gonna need through the floor subframes. It's gonna need a badass cage. Probably take it to TIG Vision. Say here's a cage. It's gonna be $3,800, and then you throw in some through the floor subframe connectors. It's gonna be $55,000, maybe $6,000 into a Fairmont. Now then what? Can you enjoy that vehicle? Can you enjoy a car that has monkey bar cages all over the place, and you're in there trying to drive it, trying to enjoy it? Honestly, I can't imagine that's enjoyable, especially a car that's probably going to make up 1,000 horsepower to the rear wheels with any kind of turbo setup, whether it's a big single or some twins. I am at a crossroads with that car because to take it to the next level, it's going to cost a bunch of money. To keep it where it's at, it's not going to cost me money, but it sure as hell is not going to gain me anything, because let's say if I run 850, 840 this weekend, and where else do I go from there? Oh, try to go 7s with a blower? Okay, so that means port the blower, potentially stress to crank out some more because now I got to pulley it to death. I mean, like 25% overdrive, maybe run a more exotic fuel. And then guess what? I'm still at that same spot of throwing $4,000 to $5,000 into it once the cage needs to get in there. Matt Sopa checking in. Thanks for checking in, Matt. I haven't seen you in a little bit. So, and then brakes and then parachute. But I have an idea of where to go with that car, whereas more people, I think, will appreciate where I'm going with this car. It's not going to go badass, because what happens when you go badass? If you're going badass, I mean, twin turbo, 1,500, blah, blah, blah horsepower, you're in the badass field. Now that becomes a race car, and it does not people go, oh, you can street drive that. Look, I'm one of those guys that street car means this. Get in it at any time, get fuel at the pump, meaning E85 or whatever, drive it anywhere without any issues, okay, and have it be manageable. And when you get in and out of it, you're not smashing your head on all the bars that you got going on over there. So at the end of the day, I need something to be reliable, more, likable by the general public, and blower or 7-second blower car and 7-second turbo car does not make sense for that car. So I'll keep you posted as to what I'm going to do. But look, hopefully Texas 2K goes well. I go up there, run the number that I want to run, and then I come back out of it unscathed, and I can sell the blower, and I'll let you guys know what my plans are going forward. Now, that's Texas 2K. Now, the prep for Texas 2K was pretty funny. You guys saw me with the stories with the wing, the rear wing. People are hating on that wing, but I love it because it looks so fucking stupid, but it did its job. It kept it stable at 150 plus mile an hour, 140 plus. I didn't go 150 on the street yet. So what am I going to do for the front air dam to make sure that the air doesn't get underneath the car and try to lift it up at 150, 160? Because the car has the potential of going 160 this weekend. If the weather holds out, if all the stars align, it might go 160 and it might go 850 and a low 1.2, high 160 foot time, because now it's making a decent amount more power than it did when it went 8.7. So had to make an air dam out of an 87 to 93 lower part of the bumper cover, meaning that was a complete bumper cover from an 87 to 93 GT. Frank Perdomo was like, I got one at the house. I'm like, it's a Fox body. It's probably going to fit in terms of width and minimal effort going in there. So we put it in and it looks fucking ridiculous. And I love it. I love how stupid it looks now. What is probably going to end up happening is I got to cover the fog light holes. And there's a debate about that. Should I put fog lights in the fog light holes? And if I do, should they light up? Yeah. I think if I'm going to put fog lights in there, they should be functional. Have some dumb color, whatever. Just the car is dumb, so might as well keep going dumb. Or should I cover the whole front air dam with like bare bond or something that just covers it all up and makes them a little more aerodynamic, keeps the air out from underneath it? I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards fog lights because it's stupid and people are going to be confused. Like, how does that 87 to 93 lower bumper cover fit that car so well? Well, it's a Fox body. It's the same shit. Today's going to be free form. I'm not going to talk too much bullshit. We'll talk about Bronco a little bit because the photos got leaked of the Ford Bronco. And if you like the Bronco and if you like the idea of a Bronco, I'd like to know your thoughts about it. Now, the power plant, supposedly it's going to be an EcoBoost motor, 4-cylinder EcoBoost. I don't know if it's going to be 2.7. I don't know if it's going to be anything bigger or smaller, but 2.7 EcoBoost seems to be the deal. And I think that actually might work for it. It really might work for the truck because if you do some trail riding, those little motors make a lot of torque. And supposedly a manual option Bronco. What are they going to do? Put in an MT82 behind it? I mean, EcoBoost makes good power, so I don't think the MT82 is going to explode behind it, but that'll be interesting how that all turns out. But let's just talk with the people. I'm going to just start answering questions, reading off your comments, and let me know what your thoughts about the Bronco are. And if you have any questions about the Fairmont or just general tech bullshit, I'm here to fuck around. Joe Jackson says, sorry, but I love the Fairmont. You don't see them done up quite often at all. It's badass and unique. It's badass, but it's going to start costing me a lot more money if I want to go any faster than where it is. Meaning, I'm talking, if I want to go 7s in it, because that's the next step. If it goes sub 850, it's going to cost me like $5,000 to get everything situated. Let me turn off the volume here. Beautiful. So, we'll see how all that goes. Someone said, hey, Alex, I thought you'd be on the road by now to Texas 2K. Well, I was working today. I had to work today. I had to get the tow vehicle. I got a Tahoe, whatever. Shout out to Randall Hadid. They got me an insane hookup price-wise on the Tahoe. Randall Hadid, thank you very much. You made it possible for me to get the Texas 2K, saving a little more money. I really appreciate that very much. It's very nice. He didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to go out of his way to help a brother out, put in a good word, got me a great deal on the rental. So I'm going to get there in style-ish because I don't want to go there with a truck. I don't want to go with a hand-me-down. I want to go there with a nice, comfortable SUV. And if I want to get out and about after the track shit's done, the vehicle's pretty decent and I can do some stuff. If I get lucky, got a big back seat, bitcha. Some of that road head. On3 Video said, by the way, I told BJ about your last shit talking episode. He laughed and said, "You're welcome." Yeah. No, BJ's a good guy. Out there tuning some GT500s, and he got the shit out on the stick his last gig. He got fucked. We'll talk about that way down the road because that does not need to be talked about right now. But BJ, let it be known, I know you got fucked on that deal. I'm not gonna hear about that because it's such a minor thing, but I saw how it all went down. I was like, probably shouldn't have gone that way. Dease Act 31 gave me $20, gave me some gas money. I appreciate the gas money because it's going to cost a good chunk of change. I borrowed Power by the Hours trailer. I'm going to go to the gas station, get some E85 in it, get some 91. I'm not putting 93 in a Tahoe. Fuck all that. Badass 5.3. I mean, those motors do take 2,000 horse, stock bottom end gang. Someone said no fog lights. Okay, well, look, I might just cover the whole thing in black, like a bare bond, and just make it black so that no one knows it's an 87 or 93. Others are like, hey, if you're going to keep it, put some fog lights in it. I wish they would at least put a 2.7 EcoBoost in the new Bronco. John Doe, that's what they're supposedly doing. And there's supposedly a hybrid. Yeah, hybrid version, which I think is going to be good. Unless they're going to do that. I almost said that secret word that gets you kicked out. Gay. So they're gonna do that gay ass looking little Bronco that competes with like the Compass or whatever, the piece of shit Jeep that looks like a feminine Jeep. I say Ford, don't fuck around and give them options of a piece of shit like that. But the thing is, it's gonna sell well because it's like a cross. What do you call it? Not a crossbred thing. It's like a crossover vehicle where it's like sort of a car, sort of a truck, but not really, and it doesn't do either of them well. Like, I can't believe there are front wheel drive Jeeps out there. I think it's a Compass, a front wheel drive Jeep. I went, really? I'm old. I remember every fucking Jeep being 4-wheel drive. Even the basic bitch Jeep was 4-wheel drive. Never Let Off says, Alex, I'm buying the EcoBoost Mustang from Lund. What do you know about it? Woo, look at you go. Never Let Off. That motor is a legit built L&M engine. The 6R80, I believe, is also very well built. A good platform. But honestly, Never Let Off. Don't be trying to make 700, 800 on that thing. You can make a little more jam, probably run 10s pretty easily with meth and some shit. And I'm sure John will be like, yeah, here's an auxiliary injector that I have for sale. And, you can control it with megasquirt, and run 10s and be chilling. But if you're trying to be that guy that run 9s or 8s in it, dude, I would just drive the car because it is a very reliable, built bottom end, built trans car. It is a nice ride. It is a premium. I think the whole interior has the big screen, the nice seats. It does all the right noises and whooshes and pops and all that stuff. It's a comfy ride. I drove it to Jersey one time because I was dating somebody up there, and I ended up driving it like an hour or something to them, and it was actually a fun little ride. Poor Boy says, if I had the money, I would buy Hush Money. It's probably better you don't buy that car because I think that car is for somebody that is looking to get into racing. Honestly, that car with a big ass pulley on it running 9.0, 9.2 is fucking perfect. Fucking perfect. Over and over. But because I want to just see how quick I can go with a untouched, unported blower, meaning just pulleys and let's get after it. It has a stock Edelbrock heat exchanger. It has a Roush intercooler pump. It has a Roush tank. It's basically a hodgepodge kit that's put together, but it is doing damn good work. It's nothing exotic, nothing ported, nothing stupid like that. It is just chilling. Now, if I want to take it to the next level, yeah, take it to Greg Kong and go port the shit, go crazy. And then what? Now I got to put a 10-point in it or a 850 legal cage or even a quicker, a higher quicker time sorted cage to be legal. And I think it's 850. I don't think I got to go crazy with like any, 25, 125, 2, 3, whatever the fuck current spec is now. But we'll see how it all ends up, but I think the blower's coming off and getting sold because the guy that got me the blower, right? The guy that got me the blower at Edelbrock, Nick Perciello, great guy. Now, Nick Perciello proposed something to me when I had the VMP blower on the car. He goes, look, this is a front feed blower. This is the future, and it's still a TVS, and I really think you can do well promoting this product. Evolution Performance with Brian Devilbliss's green car also did a killer, way better job than I did. They actually raced it and won races with it. But for the layman, the regular dude, I think they looked at my channel and went, that's an option? Okay. So once he left Edelbrock, I'm a loyal guy, right? I'm like, I don't have any ties to Edelbrock anymore because Nick is gone. So why am I going to run this blower? Does it benefit me? Not really. Does it benefit my channel? No, not really, because I don't have any connection with anyone at the company. No one has reached out. No one has done anything. So I thought, you know what? I can just sell this blower to get it to pay me back, because it cost me money to make all this shit fit, money and time, and selling the VMP blower and all. I don't know who the hell knows who's got that blower right now. And it's been quicker than it's ever been, obviously in a lighter chassis, but there has been zero issues with this blower. So I'm going to sell it, have it pay me back, and see what my options are, go from there. Wow, you guys are going crazy with the with the fucking questions already. I really appreciate the support, guys. Trust me. Chino 14281 says, "Hey, Betcha, will you tune a megasquirt on an 03 Cobra?" No, Chino. We tune OEM computers, so that means if it's a Cobra, it's on a case-by-case basis, and it's probably going to be junior or senior doing it, and get ready. You're going to get to know each other. And 11 and up Coyotes are specialty, and that's where the money is. Honestly, that's where the money is. If I got to fuck with megasquirt for 2, 3, 4 hours, I could have done 15 Coyotes during that time remotely, and it's just more of a money thing, not necessarily a we can't do it thing. It's just not really worth our time. You can get any local tuner that knows what he's doing to tune that setup. I know some people want me to tune it. I want you to tune it, Alex. Sorry, when it comes to standalone stuff, unless I buy one myself, learn it, and then start offering that service, and that might be a slippery slope because I do work for Lund Racing. I don't think I'm gonna go that route until there's a need to. Honestly, I think I'm very happy where I'm at. But unfortunately, we do not tune megasquirt on Cobra stuff. Thought on an oil pump gear and a Whipple Gen 3, Chasers 5.0. Anything, at the moment you put any stress on the crank, any blower, I would absolutely put a oil pump gear in it, whether it's TSS or MMR. That's it. I don't recommend anyone else. TSS or MMR oil pump gears. Period. Don't ask me why. That's what I recommend. You don't want to take my recommendation? Take someone else's. Don't care. How much power roughly does a factory twin disc in a GT take before it starts slipping? Right at about 750. I'm really, really close. So it's also when the power comes in. A centrifugal kind of takes its time making power based on RPM. If you hit it hard with a TVS down low, you're more likely, and you have grip, meaning you got some sticky tires, that's when the car's going to go, whoop, here's clutch slip. Go fuck yourself. Go get yourself a Mantic or a McLeod. I'd get a Mantic if I were you. Peyton Pruitt says, oh, he already said that. That was Peyton Pruitt about the clutch question. Garrett Smith says, I'll give you some gas money too. Good luck. I'm going to try to come down this weekend. If y'all aren't busy, I'll stop by and say hello. Stop by and say hello, guys. Please stop by and say hello. But understand this. If you see us running around like chickens with our heads cut off, don't be like, oh, look at that. Respectfully, get the fuck out of the way until there's a lull in the action, right? If I come back and there's antifreeze everywhere and I'm changing plugs and gapping shit, and you're there fucking like, giving me this look from like 15 feet away, I'm like, dude. But if I'm just hanging out, sitting down, having a good time, just kidding around, come on up, say, hey, Alex, what's up, brother? I just wanted to say hello. And I'm like, yeah. And if you catch me in a good moment, I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? Want to go for a ride? I'm going to bring my bikes. I'm going to bike around the pits because fuck walking around the pits. Fuck all that. I'm going to bring a bike. I'm going to bring a Tahoe, all my shit, all my clothes. I'm going to come comfortable. And I am on vacation. I literally took a week off work so that I could enjoy Texas 2K. I went, and I'm going to support, basically Lund Racing, because I'm going to race under their banner. I'm here with Lund Racing, but after hours, that's on me. I do whatever. Now, no, I'm not going to race on the street because I ain't got shit for nobody on the street. But if the track shit is dead as fuck, yeah, Fairmont might go out there and get gapped by some shit. Cuban Coyote, what's up, Alex? Good luck in Texas. I was going to send you a log before you leave, but it's raining all week in Cali, and I have to use turbo guard due to a fitting issue. Hope she doesn't blow. She not going to blow. Just keep the boost moderate, chilling. I got the rev limiter where it needs to be. Don't over rev the car until I give you the go ahead. You should be good to go, brother. Can't wait to get that car dialed in. You're going to love it. Trust me. Once it's dialed in, you're going to love it. Coyote OD. Coyote OD. gave me $5, and it says, I think it's possible for a 2650 MTD2 S197 to run well into the 8s, all supporting mods fully bolted on, etc. Just wondering how quick that combo could be. You can make like 1100 pretty easily on a fully built S197 Coyote TVS car. The problem is going to be power management, like getting out of the hole, slipping the clutch properly. Unless you get some kind of luck, you might be able to do 1 or 2 runs at like low 9, and then you get like, you just lightning strikes and you get a high 8. But the way the TVS hits makes it really tough to launch. I think you're better off doing some turbo stuff, like just rev it up, dump the clutch, and use some kind of ramping in to apply the power properly, and it'll actually benefit you because you'll actually be able to keep boost low and manageable on the hit. If you listen to Yandro Ulloa's car, Yandro the Minion, it's Cobra, 96 and 98 Cobra, I think, or 94, 95, 96 and 98, I think. You listen to that car, first of all, it's got a drag radial, and he's up at the line, he's and then you hear the car go, boom, it doesn't go, wah, it doesn't blaze tire. It goes, boom, and it has like a long first gear. So he's obviously using some kind of technology, whether it be a slipper clutch or something. I don't know. I don't ask. That's his deal. To get that car to launch on a drag radial, on a stick. That's like the only car that I know that is a stick shift car doing that. Everyone else runs like a slick and just going the brrr and dumping the clutch, and here we go. I think. But I think you're gonna have a tough time with a TVS car making about 1100 wheel, 1200 wheel stick to go 8s consistently without some kind of slipper clutch technology and power management. It's gonna be real tough. Doable, of course. T56, face plated or dog cut, whatever the fuck. I'm saying like a fully built badass T56. And you get the launch right. Let's say you get a slick and the clutch slips just right. It's the right kind of fuse. It's going to need a ton of dialing in. You're going to blow up some rear ends and drive shafts. But once you get it right, you might be able to get into the 8s, but I don't know that you can do it consistently in a TVS car. Jose Gomez says, not much, but some gas money. Looking to see you and the Lund crew. Jose Gomez, come on up. Say hi to the guys. I appreciate any support to the channel. Trust me, guys, it does not go unnoticed. Every single time you guys do something, I upgrade my equipment. I do something. The Fairmont gets a wing. The Fairmont gets some work done. Every single time you guys support the channel, I do my best to get you content out of that setup or out of that money. 03 Stang GT gave me some toll money. I should just avoid tolls so I can be up money, huh? But thank you. John Potato says, preforms things I can do in my 2016 Ford Fusion. Performance things. Ooh, so I think the Ford Fusion Sport, I don't think that's the one you have. Oh, yeah, you fucking sickos. I don't know. I think a tune. I think 5-Star does tuning for those cars, 5-Star tuning. We haven't gotten into them because there's no volume in there. Usually moms and grandmas do buy that shit. But I think the Fusion Sport, the all-wheel drive turbo one, is one of those hidden gems that I'd love to be able to pick up and fuck around with. Like back in the day, I used to love the Ford Contour SVT. The Ford Contour SVT, and I had one for a little bit, like 8 months before I broke the transmission and traded that bitch in. Was a great car in theory. I remember watching some of the Australian road racing series where they had a Ford Mondeo, and my favorite one was a silver and black one, a silver fading into black or a black fading into silver one. And I love seeing that thing with some white Oz wheels, just fucking getting it, fucking just honest shit. And I was like, God, that's a cool car. And I thought it was a cool looking car. In theory, a small sedan that was sporty and it was stick shit. I think it was cool. Now the Ford Fusion Sport, it's an EcoBoost motor, so I'm sure it's going to make good power once someone gets to tuning them. I don't know if it has the Truck 2.7, like the ones that are in 10R80, F-150s, but I think it has a lot of potential, and I think they've gone 12s pretty easily with minor modifications. So same thing as always. If it's a turbo car, down pipes, free-flowing exhaust, more, better intercooler, good to great fuel, and more boost. And that seems to be kind of the MO for any turbo car, especially factory stuff. Oh my God, you guys are crazy. 5.0 gave me Canadian money. Hey Alex, I'm doing a 4-fuel system and ID1050X injectors on my 2.9 Whipple 2016 GT. What size pulley do you recommend for the street on 93 pump gas? I'll be running 85 at the track, tuned by Lund. 387, 3.75. I wouldn't go any lower than a 3.7, 3.8, depending on how sweet the fuel is. So 3.7 seems to be the sweet spot, in my opinion, for pump gas power. And if it's a Gen 3 2.9, you might be able to make close to 700 real horsepower through a manual. Auto is going to be like 650 to 660 with that pulley, about 18 degrees of timing and good fuel. You should be good. On E85 and a 4 fuel system, fuck, whatever the car will tolerate, really. You're gonna be able to pulley to death and send that shit. 3.5, 3. I don't know if they make a 3.75 or 3 3/8. Then they go 3, 3 1/4. But once you get to that size, you might have to get a grip tech pulley or 8 rib conversion to keep it from slipping the belt. Especially if it's a Gen 3. The Gen 3s are way better than the Gen 2 Whipples for sure. And the Gen 5 is better than the Gen 3. Better than 5 pesos, sell hush money to an 8th mile racer, less issues with high speed stability. Or I could do that, right? I could do 8th mile shit, but where? 8th mile shit is badass stuff. Like 8th mile guys are badass racers. This car is a 550 8th mile car. Nothing too impressive. 550 in the 8th isn't like setting the world on fire, but it's pretty damn quick. So technically I can go out there and quote unquote grudge race the car, but have you seen the guys that grudge race? They're usually packing 2,000 and just showing you 1,000. Okay, so I have nothing for those guys. Those guys have more money into those cars than their families. They just like, fuck my kids' diapers. I am just going to put everything into this grudge car because, Binky down the street and the guys from Yeehaw, are fucking gapping and talking all this shit, and I ain't going to look like no punk, and I'm not going to pay no punk out fee, all this I don't want to sell that car and see it around. I think it's so far along in terms of its development that it's great, but I think I need to back it down a little bit, right? Make it more... Put more eyes on it. There aren't that many eyes on the car because it's kind of like out of a lot of people's reach. First of all, it's Coyote swap. Expensive. Second of all, it's a 6R80 Coyote swap car. Really expensive. And for tuning, not many people get a 6R80 to fit in a Fox chassis. Then people go, well, people seem to gravitate towards stick shift stuff or NA stuff. And I want to put more eyes on the car because that sucker needs to start paying me back. So I'm going to see what I can do to make it cool and something you can build, something you can follow and go, wow, I didn't know that motor can do that in that chassis with that combo. So that's what I'm looking to do. And it'll be reliable, more reliable and longer lasting. And it'll be still a whole bunch of fun, and it'll surprise more people that, depending on how it's going to be set up, it's going to surprise a lot of people, which is better for the Edelbrock supercharger, 103 or 132 Whipple. At least that's what I believe you have. Yeah, I will have a 132 Whipple. More throttle body on boosted applications is the way to go. On an NA setup, the restriction is going to be the manifold. I will repeat for those of you that can't hear me in the fucking back. On an NA setup, the restriction is going to be the manifold. So stock manifold cars do not benefit from a bigger throttle body. That's why Cobra Jet intakes have bigger throttle bodies, motherfuckers. Now, on a higher flowing manifold, right? Less restrictive manifold, sure, you can shove a bigger throttle body and make more power because now the restriction is going to be at the throttle body as opposed to the manifold. Understand what I'm saying? So, on a blower application, the bigger the better, but sometimes like between a 132 and a 150, like Lund Racing did a test between the 132 and the 150, and it gained like 12 horsepower. It didn't gain like 20. It gained like 12, 11, and the dyno can vary 7 or 8. So it wasn't that big of a gain between the 132 and the 150. Obviously, bigger is better when it comes to boost because you don't want the restriction to ever be at the throttle body. But I don't think I'm making a huge gain between the 132 Whipple versus the 103 Edelbrock throttle body. But I have not done that test, and I'm not looking to make that test happen. I just don't care, honestly. I had it. It's big. I made a custom inlet, PMAS 149. Send that shit. Stoneface says channel support. Thank you very much. Jesus Loaiza says, Elver Garga says hi. Who's Elver Garga? Gave me $5 just to say that. Stoneface gave me some money. Appreciate that, brother. Irvin Ruiz says, about to install a Whipple supercharger. Do you think it's a better idea to costume tune or use the calibration that comes with it? Oh, okay. Irvin, if you use the Whipple tune, it's going to run fine. It's going to have great drivability, and it's going to make decent power. If you want to unleash every single little thing from that car, a custom tune should be something you should think about. Now, you got to understand, Whipple tunes the car differently than someone like us or anyone else. You're going to need a brass IAT sensor, okay, like an IAT breakout harness, and they do sell them. Whipple does sell them because Whipple knows that one of the first modifications people do to their kit and tuning is get rid of the tune and put an aftermarket tune in it. So the Whipple IAT breakout harness, VMP sells a breakout harness. A whole bunch of people sell a breakout harness with a brass sensor, like a GM sensor, and then you'll be able to get an aftermarket tune. So be mindful of that, Irvin Ruiz. Daniel Hernandez is gay says, good evening, Alex. What extreme weight reduction tips do you have for a S197? I'm looking past the AC, sway bar, and power steering. So the sway bar you can get rid of, but you can also do the radiator support. Billet Pro Shop sells a billet support bracket that's so fucking light, it doesn't weigh a goddamn thing. Like literally weighs nothing. It eliminates about 30 pounds off the front end radiator support. So radiator support, K-member, UPR sells a very light K-member for S197. And honestly, you're just going to have to start looking into the big ticket items. We're looking at glass, we're looking at dash, we're looking at wiper motor, battery, wheels and tires, brakes, trunk lid, fenders. I am saying all the car doors. Remove the interior, take every panel on the planet out of the car, speakers. You said extreme weight reduction. That's it. Nothing that needs to be in the interior needs to be in there. Get it out of there. Start scraping some of the sound deadening. Start fucking looking for hoods. Start looking for fenders. Start looking for brakes that are light as fuck and probably don't work that well, but they're light. You need to stop eating Whataburger and lose about 50 pounds, and that's some weight reduction right there. So anything that rotating mass, drive shaft, wow, a little bit of everything needs to be, optic armor, glass, It's going to be expensive. There is no more expensive mod to an S197 than weight reduction, aside from a power adder. John Potato says it's a 2.0 all-wheel drive EcoBoost Ford Fusion. Oh, okay. 2.0 all-wheel drive EcoBoost Ford Fusion. I think 5-Star Tuning does offer tuning for those guys, and I think it's pretty freaking quick. Like, it's pretty damn stout. So honestly, I would look at tuning to get you going right away, and then, downpipes, intercooler, all that stuff. Alex, will there be spark-based traction control available in the future? Cobb utilizes this across many platforms, hoping to see this from London in the future. Timothy Fush. Every single tune we have that's like a drag race tune has a timing ramp. And there is a thing called spark cut between shifts for torque reduction. That's already implemented in the calibrations. T. Heltzer says, hello, sir. Have fun in Texas. Here's some money to get me a Texas 2K shirt. Keep the change for your troubles. Have fun, sir. Thank you, T. Heltzer. Appreciate that. Hey, Alex, 2010 GT500 rear end, noise at all speeds. Got worse with lowering springs, the drive shaft, carrier bearing, wheel bearing, diff, Devin Felix. Well, it's probably having to do with pinion angle, right? So you lowered the car and you probably got some NVH probably based on pinion angle. So take a look at your pinion angle to see if it's stressing out the bearing a little more. But if it's making noise all the time, it's time to rebuild it, brother. Time to get in there, start opening it up, do a complete rebuild kit. Be mindful that anytime you upgrade anything like control arms, you're going to get more NVH because the car basically becomes a tuning fork. It literally becomes a tuning fork, meaning boom, now you have fucking metal. Basically, you took out anything that was a sound isolator, rubber bushings and stuff. Then you went with Heim joints or urethane stuff with, tubular A-arms that aren't cast. And those guys resonate, NVH a lot more than a stock setup. Mr. Nitro says, thoughts on the new DeatsWorks fuel system? Looks good in theory. I hope that it's basically its own little hat with two like Hellcat pumps on it or some badass pumps or two DeatsWorks 400s or who knows, but two badass basically pumps in a hat. Now, I talked to Mark Heinen about it. I said, well, as long as the hat doesn't get drained quick, meaning the bucket that they're in, I hope you don't drain that and cause cavitation issues, because a 4 Innovations or any other fuel system that's wide open and the pumps are visible and the hat essentially is the gas tank, it'll never cavitate that sucker. Now, when the fuel does slosh back and forth, you might get a momentary lean condition if you don't have enough fuel in the tank. The DeatsWorks setup will cure that, but on super high horsepower applications, we want to make sure it doesn't drain the hat. And he's like, nope, there is a basically setup that it allows fuel to get right back in there quickly. So in theory, looks like a badass little setup. 5.0 gave me more money. He says, would it be worth my time swapping pulleys for the track with the 85 in your opinion? A 2016 6RD with a Gen 3 Whipple. Sorry about the Canadian pesos. Swapping the pulleys for the track? Yeah, of course. If you're on E85, you can pulley down as long as you have adequate fuel for the boost that you're providing the vehicle. So you're going to have to probably go to like a 3.6 or a 3.5 as opposed to a 3.7 for the street, which is I think the lowest, most recommend on a Whipple setup like that on pump gas. So you can pulley down for sure. Make sure you have plenty of belt, plenty of tension on the tensioner, and that'll give you a couple more pounds of boost. And if it's E85, it should be good to go. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. Would you drive a Kia Stinger GT2 all-wheel drive 3.3 V6 twin turbo? I drove a fucking Hyundai Genesis for a year. Of course I drive a Stinger. Not for racing, but, just to drive around. They don't look bad. What 10 rib can you run on the Edelbrock 2650? It's got to be a custom setup. I think Evolution Performance can get you squared away with a setup because they did it on Brian Devil Bliss's car. I just don't think it's necessary at the power level that I have. Now, if you want to make 900, 1,000, yeah, it's necessary. And a grip tech pulley. And a billet crank. Get ready to stress out the stock crank. I am not a fan of stressing out the stock crank at that boost level because that's the first thing that's going to fail. You're going to fling it. Now, MFP is working on a crank support. I was supposed to get a measurements and shit, but honestly, this is the last time I'm going to run the Edelbrock supercharger, so I'm not looking to run any more crank supports on the car because my future does not involve superchargers on the Fairmont anymore. I've thought about putting the Edelbrock supercharger back in the red car, but then I'm back to square one, making that fucking thing fast. And that thing already has a return solid fuel system and 1,000cc injector, so it'll make 800 no problem. But it's got stock axles, a stock transmission. I'm back to square one. I'm like, no. Let me not, that's like giving crack to a crackhead. Oh, then I'm going to start spending money on that. I need that car to start paying me back soon. Alex, a stock gear, Insane Mustang says, Alex, are stock gears the same gears in a kit built rear end like Ford Performance gears, or are they stronger? Can't wait to see a Texas 2K. If you need another pair of hands, hit me up. I'll let you know, Insane. But the car's pretty dialed in, the Fairmont. All I do is a bolt check, go up there with Senior. Senior's going to crew my car, and Dakota is going to crew Junior's car. And we'll have the help of the MRL and Midnight Performance guys, Manuel Gomez, Brian Luna, and all their boys are going to be there. They're going to be running the white F-150 truck. That thing is badass, twin turbo. So see if you can get that thing into the 8s during Texas 2K. It'll be the second F-150. Actually, if you talk to someone else, the third. But let's talk about non-Coyote swap, meaning that motor is stock and it came in that truck. It'll be the second Coyote equipped truck in the 8s if he makes that happen this weekend. TSS Hi says, help, I have a 2012 Coyote, 125,000 miles. What would you do? Sell or boost? If boost, what would you do to it to not blow up? Thanks, brother. Well, you're already at 125,000 miles. So to be honest with you, I would save some money and freshen up that motor, then think about boost. Why not just buy a Gen 2 bottom end, or maybe buy a built short block and sell your short block, which is still complete, to somebody and let them rebuild it to recoup some money. That's probably not a bad idea, but I wouldn't think about boost at all, TSS, until you make sure that bottom end is pretty legit. I'd hate for you to throw $6,000 with a Paxson kit, go watt, do a shift, and boom, there goes your motor. Now you're fucked. Why not make sure the motor is legit first, then think about boost? That is what I recommend. Nickel White S550, putting some 456 gears in his S550. I love this dude. This dude is just a stick shift, bro, has a max effort stick shift car, and sooner or later, he's going to be one of the quicker S550s NA MT82 equipped to the 8th. So that'll be fun to see him do that thing. It says, Manual for the win. Good luck this weekend. Thank you, Nickel. Appreciate that. John Cardone says, trying to see if my gas is garbage. Any input on what I need to look at in my log? Short-term fuel trim shows 109 at 7,000 RPMs, 93 octane TVS car. So that's not bad. I mean, it's not great. It's 10%. I'd rather it be trimming 0.98, not adding fuel. I'd rather be taking away a little fuel. But look at your knock sensors. Knock sensors are positive. That means they're removing timing. If they're positive, meaning positive knock, That means they're removing timing. If they are negative the whole way, you got pretty good octane in there, so you shouldn't have to worry about it all that much. Can Lund tune a Shelby GT500? What kind of a question is that? Where is it? Where'd it go? I said, can Lund tune a Shelby GT500? Fuck, where is it? I lost it. I totally lost it. Here we go. Momad says, can Lund tune a Shelby GT500 X4 SCT? I heard that they don't support it. I don't know. I don't know who the fuck you heard that from, Momad. We support SCT devices. Live wire, not the best. I like the X4 or the BDX. The X4 is still King Daddy in my opinion. So yes, we do support any SCT equipped vehicles for tuning. So whoever's telling you that is full of shit. We just prefer the N-Gauge because it's easier, and for logging, it's just awesome. Oscar Aguilera says, Alex, have you ever gotten gapped by a Speed 3 yet? Nope, not yet. I did dyno one when I was working for VMP that made like 820, and I hope I never come across that dude because that thing rolled the fuck out once the turbos were up and going. In your opinion, are esports real sports? Well, let's define sports. All right, let's look at sport. S-P-O-R-T. Definition. Esports meaning like gaming. An activity involving physical exertion, your fingers are moving, and skill in which an individual or team competes against another for one's entertainment or others for entertainment. The second definition is informal. A person who behaves good or specified way in response to teasing, defeat, or similarly trying situation. So according to the definition, yeah, it's a sport. You're exerting physical energy with your fingers, and it is a mind game because you do have technique. So it is a sport. Is it a physical activity? Your fingers are moving around. Is it something I consider a sport? Like, are you an athlete? Are you an athlete if you do an e-sport? No, because an athlete does athletic things, and an e-sport or an e-game or anything, it's not physical exertion the way I look at it in terms of an athlete. So I wouldn't call them athletic. I love when NASCAR guys for a while saying, yeah, we're athletes. You're not an athlete. You're driving a car. Yes, it is physically exhausting, but you're not an athlete. Okay. When I think of athlete, I think, LeBron James. I think, a badass football player, Dak from the Dallas Cowboys, even though he's gets made fun of a lot, he is an athlete. That dude can get it. Russell Wilson, athlete. LeBron James, athlete. Don't tell me a NASCAR driver, Ricky, not Ricky. What's the fucking guy that everyone hates in NASCAR, the old M&M car? He's good. He's fucking great driver. Kyle Busch. But they ain't no athlete. Don't tell me you're a fucking athlete. Love you. You're a killer driver. Awesome. You're not no fucking athlete. So don't call yourself an athlete. Don't put yourself on the same, can't mention you in the same breath as a LeBron or Russell Wilson or something like that. No fucking way. Aaron Brown says, is it possible to get a flex tune on my top mount? No flex tunes for boosted vehicles, period. No flex tune for boosted vehicles. Why doesn't Ford offer flex tunes for EcoBoost trucks? Why doesn't Ford offer flex tunes for anything boosted? Taurus, anything. Only naturally aspirated vehicles get flex tuning. The reason that they do that is the same reasons that we do that. Let's say, for instance, you're rolling around on spring, 10 PSI, and you have theoretically you have a flex tune in the car. If you have 85% ethanol, 10 PSI at, a tested 85% ethanol will allow you to get, 16, 17, 18 degrees of timing. But let's say you're on 50%, right? You're going to get what? About the same timing at that boost. So that means your ethanol content. Now your car's going to run richer because there's less ethanol. There's less ethanol in it. And you're going to have complications with fuel trims. You're going to have complications with power, and the boost might be too much for that given octane at the same time. And then you're going to run pump gas on that setup. I just don't think the flex fuel logic works well for boosted cars. And I think Ford knew that, or there's just more complications that they're willing to deal with. So they didn't do it. That's the same reason we don't do it. But no, it's okay. It's okay, Aaron Brown. It's a normal question. I hear that all the time, but no flex fuel tuning with factory computers on boosted cars, period. E Vega says, new question. Why should I look for the Q death wobble on the heavy acceleration? I don't know if this matters, but it went left hard from a soft launch. Death wobble? E Vega, you need to tell me what vehicle you're driving because I don't know what the hell a death wobble is in a Mustang. Greetings from Germany. Love your show. Thank you, Boss T. Cletus has cervical cancer. Come on, guys. Alex, been looking into the Edelbrock Coyote Swap Supercharger kit at 11 PSI. What's a ballpark number to wheels at that PSI? 650. 650. It's a Gen 2 with forged rods, pistons with stage 2. Oh, stage 2 cams? 680. Through an auto, or through a manual, 680. Through an auto, about 650. That's conservative. That's a conservative pump gas number. I fucking hate ringing it out on pump gas. Just can't trust pump gas. I'm not one of those guys. Alex, I noticed my air fuel ratio went to 20 on idle. Is that normal? At idle, that means you have a bad O2 sensor, or you're decelling, meaning if you let off the gas and you're coming to a stop, these cars have a thing called coasting fuel shutoff. What that means is when you let off the gas and you stare at your N gauge, all the gauges go to 0 or 10 fuel trims and AFR 20, and it turns red and you go, oh, I'm going lean. Yeah, you're going lean. The car shut off the injectors on decel to slow you the fuck down. It is not hurting anything because there is no load placed on the engine. If you're sitting there at a light, idling, and your AFR shows 20, you have a bad O2 sensor, front O2 sensor. Savage Productions gave me $20. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Says, love your channel. Alex, have fun in Texas. Don't catch the coronavirus. I don't drink beer, so I'm good. These people need you around to stop them from buying aftermarket cold airs. Yeah, it depends on the cold air, honestly, Savage Productions. A lot of people think that a cold air is like this mod, and I don't blame them because you can go to any website right now, and they'll say 20 rear wheel horsepower gain with a cold air. For the layman, meaning the guy that doesn't know all that much and is new to the game, he's like, 20? I'm gonna buy it. Gets it, puts it in. Then they start learning what needs to happen with a lot of cold airs. Oh shit, I need a tune. Oh, all right, I guess I'll go to tune. Oh shit, I gotta buy X4 or N-Gauge. Oh shit, okay, Holmes. Okay, hey man, this intake is supposed to make like 20 more, and I took it to the dyno, and it made 20 less. Why is that? I don't understand. So then you're like, well, sir, IATs are 160. I don't get it. It's supposed to be cold air, not a hot air. This bullshit, man. They sold me a hot air intake. Right. So you got to understand that an open air element is going to allow more air in, and it's also going to allow more heat in. Why does Ford cover their cold airs? Why does Ford cover their cold airs? Look at a Ford, except GT350 and GT500. Actually, early GT500 had open cold airs. New GT500 are covered. Oh, man. I don't know. You don't need a lot. You don't need cold air. Like if you have an NA car that has no mods, still got stock exhaust, leave that bitch alone. Leave that bitch alone. Once you upgrade the manifold, E85, headers, meaning now the motor's breathing heavier, then you can upgrade the cold air, buddy. Someone said Hell Horse or FatFab twin turbo kit on a 350. When it comes to turbo kits, it doesn't get much better than FatFab and Aldo welds. In my most humble and honest and uninformed opinion, there is no better kit than any Aldo kit or any FatFab kit. FatFab, I don't even think sells a kit. I think you have to bring the car to them and they will build it on the car, like for the car. If they are selling kits, I'll redact that statement, but I think you got to bring them the car. Here you go, twin turbo kit. See ya. And it is a beautiful masterpiece. Same thing with Aldo Welds. You drop off the car to him, badass shit, but he also does sell kits. So in my opinion, you can't go wrong with Aldo or FatFab. In my opinion, because I'm going to get some fucking company saying, hey man, why are you dogging us? I'm not dogging anybody. Someone's asking me a question. I've seen the kits. I've tuned the kits. I see how they perform on the track. Proof's in the pudding. Mod Motor Ray says, hey Alex, good luck in Texas 2K. Put up a good number. Make sure you put GD85 in the Fairmont, and we don't want to see you blow up the motor on the first run. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Thanks for fucking wishing me luck. And don't catch a coronavirus in Taquachet Town, Houston. It is Taquachet Town. Everyone's got those blowout haircuts and be like, hey, you not going to raise me, cuz? Huh? You don't want to raise me, cuz? In your fucking Halliburton truck. Oh, man. Kenneth Smith says, I have an S197 MT82 Nitrous CJ. I have Eibach R2 coilovers when I used to road race. Should I switch to Viking shocks for drag racing? Absolutely. In my opinion, Viking shocks are a crucial element to dampening and making sure that you keep everything at bay. You want to make sure that you don't have the rear end smashing the fender, meaning the tire smashing the fender. You want to make sure rebound's on point, compression's on point, keeping the body from going down into the tire. And when the rear end actually extends, because when you launch the car, this is the pinion, this is the back tire. Oh, pinion. Okay. Anyway, the pinion goes up. So that means it brings the back of the rear end down, which means your rebound has to be controlled, right? And then your compression for when the body catches up to the rest of that has to be controlled. And it's super crucial to get those dialed in when launching a stick car, in my opinion. And auto cars, big boy auto cars, big power auto cars. Since you said C virus, don't you lose money? Coronavirus? Maybe. Coronavirus? Isn't it just like a badass flu? It's literally a badass flu. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you're a 99-year-old woman, guy, or man with a compromised immune system, yeah, if someone sneezes on you, you're like, I'm going to die. You know, if you fall and break your hip, that blood clot will make its way to your lungs and you dead, or your brain. Coronavirus, same thing. It's if you're a healthy adult, and you have a decent immune system and you're not constantly sick all the time. If you're one of those guys that gets sick easy, it's probably a good idea not to be around people for a while until this shit goes away. E Vega says 15 SF50 felt like the rear was wobbling from left to right. Was racing the wife's scat pack. Now she's talking shit. She should talk shit. You're probably talking wheel hop, right? Wheel hop. The first thing that cured wheel hop on my car was the spring. Now I know people are gonna say, no, you got to get Vikings, Holmes. Yo, Holmes, you got to get some Vikings. I don't know nothing. I think springs, lowering the car seems to help for whatever reason. I put some Edelbrock Pro Kit on my white car. No wheel hop, no nothing. It was actually pretty damn legit, and it cured a lot of the body roll tendencies that it had with a lower center of gravity. So I think springs in the short run will help that. Dampening, like shocks, will actually eliminate that. David Russ says, how often y'all seen or tuned Coyotes powered road race cars with a power adder? Trying to figure out the most reliable way to make 7-900 without causing a mini Chernobyl. The baddest ass road race cars that are like your body style, meaning something that resembles a factory car, make about 600. And it's all suspension, weight, tire, aero. So you making 700 to 900, why don't you spend that money on suspension and get that bitch to grip? Because you at 700 and a very well experienced guy with a GT350 at 500 will fuck you up bad, lap the shit out of you. So I'm not interested in tuning a road race setup that makes that much power. My car, my white car, if I was gonna road race it, I would lower boost immensely, like the biggest pulley I can get. Hell, I know exactly what it takes to make 500 rear wheel horsepower on the car, and is keep the valve fucking open. Keep the bypass valve, keep it open, and it'll see like 3 PSI or 4 PSI, and it'll see about 500 wheels. So what do? Disconnect and plug the line that allows the bypass to open and shut, and it'll be open all the time, whooshing air into the engine bay, but the car will make about 500 real horsepower, and it'll be super manageable at the track. No drinking sounds tonight? Here we go. You fucking freak. Oh, yeah, come on, take that. If you guys want me to fart into underwear and ship it to you, I do that too. You fucking freaks. Okay. If you're obese, high blood pressure, respiratory issues, biggest risk factors. Sweet. Alex Vlog says, what fuel pump injectors header should I purchase on my 18 Coyote? I purchased 4.7 Kenny Bell. Why the hell did you do that? Kenny Bell boosted pump. Goal is trying to make 800. Just need your honest opinion. First of all, you bought a 4.7 Kenny Bell. That's a big fuck up on you. And if you want to make 800, you could do it with any blower. A Paxton, a Whipple. But if you're trying to do it on pump gas, because you mentioned BAP, good luck with that shit. You better put MS-109 in that motherfucker. You better put MS-109 because no one is interested in making 800 on pump gas on that setup. A 4.7 Kenny Bell? Cams? A booster pump? Come on, man. Come on. Did you do that to make, let me get a really big blower. Put the biggest pulley on it. Cams to make 800 on pump gas. Like, the thought process is way out of whack. I have no opinion on that shit. If you wanted to make 800, you should have spent that money on like a little Paxton, a fuel system, and a 3.6 pulley or a 3.3 pulley when you want to party, and that bitch would have been way better off than what you currently got going on. Now the real doctors are saying it's 10 to 15 times as bad as the real flu. No, it's not. It's not, because I haven't heard that. The CDC has not come out with a statement saying that, hey, really stay the fuck inside. This thing is badass shit. Nobody has said that. Nobody, maybe people from CNN or some shit, you know, guys out there giving you a fucking, holy shit, you can't go outside. People buying toilet paper. What the fuck's toilet paper going to do to save you from the coronavirus? What? Because you're going to shit your brains out? You'll have enough paper to shit? I don't get it. Sneezing? What the fuck is toilet paper going to do to keep you safe or alive during the coronavirus, quote unquote, outbreak? eVegas says it's lowered. Hop feels like shaking, right? Yeah, it feels like shaking. It's like a da-da-da-da-da-da, you know? So, you know, maybe the car's trying to keep traction. Maybe you have traction control on and it's, you know, shutting throttle, applying throttle, shutting throttle, applying throttle. Turn off advanced track totally and see if it still does it. I bet you it don't. Because my red car has a bone stock suspension right now. I put it to the wood. It bing just blazes tire. No death hop, no death wobble or anything of what you're calling it. Is a valve stem job seal hard? Yes. You might want to take the head off for that motherfucker. You don't want to start dropping things into the motor. So yeah, your daily Venom, take it to take the heads off and take it to a place that does that for a living. Eric V says, well, it happened. Blew my third gear in the MT82. Going to buy Tremec Magnum XL. What gear ratio do you recommend? 266 or 297? I'm boosted and have 331 pumpkin. Holy shit. You better put 4 10s in it. You better put 4 10s in it if you're making about 700 real horsepower and a 297 first, in my opinion. The 266 has kind of a long first, so you need big boy power and a 410 to get it going. I prefer 297 in that setup. Alex, will Lund tune my car with a 95mm throttle body and an 18 manifold. LOL. If your manifold is ported to death, I'm saying to death, all you need is maybe a GT350 throttle body. Maybe a GT350 throttle body, because like an 80, almost 90mm. No, it's like a stock is 85, so it's like 90, like 87. I think it's an 87mm, so it's slightly bigger. So come on. I mean, no. Why don't you just buy a Cobra Jet? Buy a Cobra Jet at that point. There was no live stream on your dating channel last week. I don't have cable, so I was looking forward to a DSM Pure. Sorry, I don't want to just go out there and say nothing. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it during the week up there. I mean, maybe I'll do it at Texas 2K on a Thursday night, depending on what's going on. I just didn't really have much to talk about. I went on a couple dates. They were fucked up, of course. The couple dates that I went on were just fucked up. I mean, what I mean by fucked up is they go great. They go great. Everything's good. And then all of a sudden, you just either don't hear from them because they say something like, you're too nice. I'm like, okay. Or you figure out they're fucked up. Like I met a lot of women that seemingly have their shit together. House, job, body, workout, da-da-da-da. I've now come to the conclusion that if you work out a lot as a woman, you are fucked up. You are hiding something. You are running from something. Something is fucked up in your head. I gotta keep my mind busy. I gotta keep working out. Then you end up this big jacked CrossFit chick that nobody wants to date. Stop that. Who at Lund would you recommend to tune a turbo S197? Come on, 5 Slow. The fuck? All of us. We all use the same files, dude. What's wrong with you? Oh yeah, bicho, on Coyote swaps, using an F-150 engine, map harness on an FRPP control pack, MAF, won't work? Dakota? Why not? Unless you rewire the harness. Wait, and an engine? Wait a minute. The engine doesn't give a fuck unless you're using the stock manifold. Meaning, let's say, for instance, you have a Coyote swap. Oh, I think this is why. I think you need F-150, S550, a F-150 engine harness, because the injector timing is different in the harness than it is in the control pack. Call Power by the Hour. They will tell you what to do. They will sell you what you need to get that thing right. You don't need to get rid of the control pack, but I think the engine harness itself has to be from an F-150, and then the IAT harness, the IAT wire, has to be converted from MAP to MAF, and then we can tune it like a Mustang. It's not going to be that much different. Otto says, say hi to the guys at Texas2k for me. Thank Dakota again for my pump tune. Brandon for helping me chase down a weird rev hang issue I'm having on my Flex NE85R tunes. And hoping to get Brandon a round of data logs here soon. Awesome, Otto. Appreciate the kind words. We're working hard. Brandon's going to be the only guy on deck. And it's going to be Tyler and Nardi, which those guys are now starting to dabble in tuning, which is awesome to see. And Brandon's going to be, last man on the totem pole, just fucking hitting it. So be patient, guys. Dakota and Junior are going to try their best to get tickets, but Junior's racing, Dakota's tuning and crewing, and Senior's crewing my car. So we're having fun at 2K, representing, doing what we can to get out there and actually race once in a while. Are Strange shocks as good as well? Yes, I have Strange shocks single adjustables in my Fairmont. They're very good, very good. If you want to do badass shit, Menser valved AFCOs are like super badass, but I don't think you're at that level yet. Watch Joe Rogan's last podcast with the infectious disease expert. I'm not going to watch anything on Joe Rogan and say it's like law, because he's got potheads in there smoking, and then they're just like, yeah, there's really, aliens, and they're just a little out there for me. I don't care what the fuck Joe Rogan's show has to say about a subject this delicate, okay? When the CDC says, stay in your fucking house, this is fucking bad, that's when I'll look into it. When a Joe Rogan podcast says it, I'm not going to believe shit. How cold is it? Too cold to run the 85? It gets around 30 where I live in the winter. Well, it's just going to be harder to start. And he said, and he hashtagged something funny. Ford Moore, it's just going to be harder to run, to make the car start. Once it starts, it's fine. Once it's warm, it'll start up, because you're trying to ignite ethanol. So it's harder to ignite than gasoline. So if it starts and runs fine, it's not going to be an issue. It's not going to gum up. It's not going to fuck anything up. A lot of people think that you're running like chocolate milk through the car if you're running 85, and that's just not the case. Okay. Alex, when doing centrifugal blowers, do you think throttle body size matters? Okay, so depends on the manifold, Mike Vasquez. Depends on the manifold. Think about it. Fuck. I can't believe it's that hard to think about. Think about it. If you have a manifold that is stock, and you have a small throttle body, right? Or a throttle body sized for that manifold, and you shove air through it, right? The restriction is going to be the manifold header's exhaust. So if you have a bigger throttle body, do you think it's all of a sudden going to open up everything else? Manifold header's exhaust? Like, you think it's just going to make it flow better because you have a bigger throttle body? No. Now, if you have a ported to death manifold, just hogged out, or a Cobra Jet, or a ported Boss, or a ported 18, or a ported GT350, yeah, a bigger throttle body will definitely help that. But automatically, it's not going to help it. Like, if you have a manifold that's pretty restrictive, like stock manifold, and you have a stock throttle body, blow through application. Guess what, guys? Stock throttle bodies, have made 1200 wheel. It's all about where the restriction is. Is it in the manifold? Is it in the exhaust? So if you throw a 90 millimeter on it, it's not going to automatically pick up 20 horsepower, because where's the restriction? Is the restriction at the throttle body? If the restriction is at the throttle body, yeah, it'll pick up power. But if the restriction is downstream, it's not going to pick up shit. It's really not fucking hard to figure. It's really not fucking hard. It's an air pump. It's an air pump. That's all the fucking engine is. So if you make the air pump more efficient, the inlet isn't going to do a goddamn thing. So E Vega says, so it's not wheel hop. I got no traction control. I didn't describe what I'm experiencing very good. The rear seems to sway from left to right. You probably have something busted back there, like a bad sway bar. Have you looked underneath the car to see if you have a bad sway bar or a link or anything like that? It doesn't sound like a typical problem. So I definitely take a look at it. MZ says, the guy on Joe Rogan wrote a book about this shit happening a couple of years ago. Look, man, stop it. He's promoting something. Okay, stop it. I am not going to listen to any media outlet about a virus. Any media outlet. I'm going to listen to, I know the government doesn't tell you the truth either. Okay, but if there's a legitimate fucking problem and they still let you go out there, that's pretty fucked up. Just do the same type of shit you do normally. Someone's sneezing and coughing, don't go make out with them. Someone's fucking got boogers hanging out of their nose, don't lick them off their fucking nose. Someone's sneezing, stay away, just like you would do the regular flu season. Matthew Howell Jr. says, come on, Alex, everybody knows you're going to go faster with a 95 throttle body. Yeah, with a stock manifold, yeah, nobody. But if the manifold is way the fuck hogged out, yeah, it might make a little more power. I have a ported 18, Mike Vasquez. Okay, so if you have a ported 18 manifold, ported, very well ported, yeah, you might benefit a little bit. But what's a throttle body cost nowadays? $400, $500. So let's say you put the throttle body on and you gain 8 horsepower, because that's probably what you're going to make. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Hey Alex, I have a Factory 5 with Gen 1 Coyote tuned by Lund racing in SETX4. The car is running perfect, except sometime at idle. I try to change. God damn it, this thing just moves. When I try to change the tune, it gives me a code PO100. Contact SCT. It sounds like an SCT issue. Alex, would Lund work on a street performance tune for my NA14 GT, thinking it would need lower initial timing till 5,000 RPMs once I can make it hook? No. I hate people that are like, oh, I need the timing to be low so I can hook on the street. Get a better tire and get better at suspension and pedal the car. Some people just want to like floor it, let go of a button, and like have the tune do everything. How about tune the suspension, get a better tire, put down some pimp juice? Some people just are insane thinking the tune is good. Timing. Lower timing. I need you to lower timing so I can hook on the street. No. Get your suspension dialed the fuck in. If you're leaving at 5,000, leave at 4,000. Get a better suspension. Put sandbags in the trunk. Just stop it. Stop it with relying on the tuner. I wanted to do everything. Yeah. Meanwhile, you see the street outlaw guys, you know, if it's a turbo car, they ramp it in later, or they do a soupier burnout, or if they're on virgin road, they don't even apply any power until way later. But that is all because of turbo and nitrous and when power management happens. Just because you're on the street racing, you know, grudge racers on the street. I love guys that are like, I'm a grudge racer and the car's an 11.9 car. If you have anything slower than 9.0, and you call yourself a grudge racer, grudge racers would probably be like, you ain't one of us. What the fuck? Grudge racer. We got 6-second cars betting $10,000 fucking dollars. And you're out there betting 150. The pot is 150. Oh, there's 150 in the pot. That means the homeboy put $3. That guy put 28. And you're out there. I need less timing so I can beat this guy for $150 pot. Oh, fuck out of here. I love you, but come on. Stop it. Stop it with the I need less timing so I can run down the street with my friends. You know, JJ the boss is coming to town and I want to make sure I just shut up with the timing shit. Get better suspension, learn to drive the car, and you should be good to go. Bullshit timing. David Martin says, Mustangs have Gen 1, 2, 3 engines. Do 150s have the same gens between them? Yeah. 11 to 14, Gen 1. 15 to 17, Gen 2. 18 and up, Gen 3. Just like Mustangs. Brian Geisler says, what's up, Alex? Thoughts and opinions on a stock balancers versus ATI. ATIs are made really well. Really precise units. I currently have a D1 X Pro Charger on the car. Any added security, going ATI on stock, good enough. Stock's fine. The only reason to go ATI is for extra dampening and just a more precise piece, or to overdrive your, to make more boost. If you're not looking to make more boost, leave it stock. If you're looking to make more boost, or you're making a lot more boost, get an ATI. It's a very precise built unit. Marshall ENG says, 13 premium, 56,000 miles for sale, full bolt-on, Lund tune, 85 Mantic clutch, invoice approved, UPR suspension, carbon fiber drive shaft, built rear end, all mods selected per Alex's recommendations, looking to get $20,000 in South Florida. Anyone looking for an NA car? He paid me $10, and I am announcing it on the channel. Marshall ENG is selling a Coyote with 56,000 miles, full bolt-on, means all the bolts are fully bolted on. Matt GT500 says, good luck at Texas 2K. Should I add L&M NSR cams or 10% lower on a 10 GT500? Trinity 2.4 upper, long tube headers, free flowing exhaust, full bolt on the 85, tuned by Brandon. Talk with L&M engines to build the bottom end at the end of the year. I like L&M NSRs, but a 10% lower is going to give you a good bump too. I like the L&M. If you can swing it, get some L&M cams in there. It's going to chop nice. It's going to put less, it's going to make the airflow nice through the heads. It's going to be super happy. It's not going to make that much torque as it would with stock cams, but it's definitely going to make a lot more top end than it did with stock cams. 10% lower. So 2 more PSI or so, or cams. The 10% lower is a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. Fucking tons cheaper. You buy the 10% and just slap it on. The L&M cams, you got to drop the motor and put the cams on and buy the cams. You're going to be into it for like $3,000. $1,200, you're going to be like $3,000. So $3,000 versus what? How much is a 10% lower and installation? Yeah. The 10% lower looks good for power. For sound and cool factor, NSR cams. I would do the 10% lower. Fuck, it's a bit of a mind fuck. If you have the money, cams. If you don't have the money and you care about money, 10% lower is fine. Brandon gave me $50 fucking dollars. What's your problem? Holy shit, thank you very much. You tuned my car about 3 years ago and was curious if there are any gains to be made with a new tune with what the industry has learned over the years. Thanks and good luck. Brandon, there's always improvements happening. But if the car is running good, and if it's a Gen 1 car, that tune's pretty vetted and dialed in. If it's a Gen 2 car, we've learned a lot since 2015, 2016. But the latest tunes for 15 and up are like 2018. The latest tunes for Gen 1 cars are still like 2016. So if you have a 2016 tune or so in a Gen 1 car, that's the latest and greatest that we have. On a Gen 2 car, if it's 18, 2018 and up, you should be okay in terms of when the tune file was sent. But thanks for the money. I appreciate that. But I really don't think there's that much to be gained on the Gen 1 car unless you want to RPM it to death. Now, we have learned that with Gen 1 cars, we now can patch it and make it rev to the moon. But that's only on built bottom ends or all-out race applications. So unless you're doing that, there's really no need to revise your file. But thanks a lot for the support, Brandon. Really appreciate you. Corona is a cover-up for the 5G network. Everywhere it was switch on, people have gotten sick. Yeah, the 5G network actually scares me. The 5G network fucking sending crazy signals onto your phone like microwaves, burning your shit. Look, I'm not a big fan of phones that are this powerful, like here all the time. That's why I wear earbuds, or even though that's still something going into your brain. But a 5G network, if you see how that works and how much power it has and how much it's like a line of sight issue, right? Like 5G does not encompass everywhere. It's line of sight. So if you see a tower that has a 5G, whatever, transponder, receiver, whatever, and your phone's near it, it's going to get badass uploads and downloads. But at what cost? We don't know. We have no idea what it's zapping you with. Rupier says, are 93 and 85 tunes for the same car mods considered separate to Lund? I don't mind paying for each tune, just curious. So, Rupier, let's say you have a 93 tune in your car and you want to go E85. You got to pay $200 if it's naturally aspirated and make sure there's enough fuel in the car, meaning fueling requirements have to be met. But it is the same tune. We just add E85 options onto it. It's not a completely new remap. We say, here's a flex tune on that tune, and here's E85 dedicated on that same tune. It'll drive a little more aggressively because of more spark, but the tune essentially, the layout is similar. Nardi Mercado says, Alex, I took your advice on swapping from a 373 to 331 850 rear horsepower 15. Car feels right now and pulls even harder. From an auto, I'm concerned about being aluminum. What RPM launch would be safe? Ooh. The manual launching situation, you better have slicks in that bitch. Something that, again, a fuse. A fuse means something that takes the shock away from the driveline, whether it be a clutch or a clutch tamer or a tire. So if you have a drag radial and you go up there at 5,000 RPMs and dump the clutch on an 850 rural horsepower car, you are going to blow it up. You're going to blow it up eventually. It'll stick a couple times, wheel hop massively. You're either going to blow up the drive shaft, the axles, or the rear end. Or the outer bearings, meaning the bearings on the actual carrier themselves, those have been blowing up lately. So I would definitely look into a fuse, like a slick, like a bias ply. You need a wrinkle. You need a fuse. You can't have just everything stiff out there and hope you have badass prep and it's just gonna hook. No, you need a fuse. Momad says, Alex, Shelby GT500, 2014 with Whipple throttle body, twin 68, 123 JLT, free flowing exhaust, 2.4 upper. How much will it make? Stock blower and 91 octane. Well, I've seen stock blower cars, as long as they have good fuel, make close to 700 wheel. Like really close. 700, 714. If we get aggressive and the fuel's really happy, 720. But don't think that's the standard. It's usually high 600s. But that car, if everything is good and happy and good fuel quality, it should make 700. YouTube Corp Anti-Free Speech says 10R80 Whipple Stage 2. If you can get a 10 to 20 pounds of boost on a stock balancer versus a 15 to 20 on a 20% balancer, is there any reason to go 20%? Isn't 25 PSI over 1,000 wheel? Want to be able to use pump gas? Yeah, YouTube Corp Anti-Free Speech. You can get close to 800 horsepower if it's Gen 5 Whipple with a stock balancer. Only when you want to make way more boost do you get an overdrive at 10, 15, 20, 25%. I personally would never go over 15% unless I'm looking to make over 1,000 wheel and really party. But at that diameter overdrive, I'm starting to think billet crank or a crank support from MFP. I'm like, it's this diameter, you're fucking pulling it with the belt, routing it, and then you're stressing the top guy with a tensioner. Guess where all that is stressing? At the balancer. And it's either going the whole time or up the whole time, or if you hit a limiter and you're pulling up and it goes bop, bop. Guess what happens? You're literally just wiggling, the end. You're trying to wiggle the end loose the whole time. So a crank support is something that you're going to have to look at if you're going to get into the 20% and up range. Any overdrive, any blower car can benefit from a crank support. So look into that. Root Beer says, thanks. No problem. Anytime. Aaron Brown says, thoughts on how my 1910R80 top mount twin turbo kit will get down on the street. Twin 55, Z85, and have a 305 in the rear. Tuned by Dakota. Might even throw some sandbags in the back if necessary. Believe it or not, on the street, stock suspension kind of is top dog. It needs to be on the soft side to kind of, work its way on the street where traction is at a premium or not a premium. How does that work? Is it backwards? At a premium means there's a lot of it or not that much of it? Not that much grip. You want a soft suspension setup on the street to bite and get going. I don't think stiffening up the rear end and doing crazy shit is going to be that beneficial on the street. So yeah, some sandbags in the trunk, stock suspension, and just let it do its thing. And since you can ramp in power with an on-3 kit, if you have a boost controller, I think you can have a pretty badass combination that's going to gap a lot of people for sure. Alex Cadell said, I checked the rear wheel lug nut torque, tire PSI. It had similar sway issues in my 15 performance pack, and that cured my sway at speed. Haven't even touched the suspension yet. Badass, Alex Cadell. Momad says, does the elbow for the stock blower make a difference? Yeah, for sure. You can get a bigger elbow like a BPS or just like a VMP. I think they sell upgraded elbows, just bigger elbows, basically like a hog dot elbow. But it doesn't make like a huge difference like 20 horse. But it does make a difference for sure. Making the air nice and, no restriction. That's the thing. If you have no restrictions in there, car's going to be happy. Oh, shit. DS550 says, Alex, I paid $20 last week when the stream ended. He said steam, but I said stream. I live in Maryland. Luntune 17 S550 with a Roush 2.3, 79mm pulley, headers, pump 93, guesstimate rear horsepower. Any S550 that is a manual and a 79mm pulley is pretty good to be a 650 car, meaning 650 to 680, depending on how happy and how good the fuel is. That is a manual, of course. He did not say if it's a manual or an auto, but he also says a guesstimate rear horsepower. How does this compare to a bolt-on E85 10R80? I am telling you, a boosted Gen 2 is going to have a tough time versus an E85 10R80 S550. From a roll, from a dig, you are going to have to do everything it takes to get that car because those cars are 11.0 high 10-second cars. The gear split is minimal. It stays in the power band the whole time. It has more compression. It is a better engine. It makes more power. It stays in the power band. It is a wonderful setup overall. So a Gen 2 or Gen 1 boosted car is going to have a real tough time versus any 10R80 E85 Gen 3 car. It's going to be tough. It's going to be right there. You're not going to gap it. Maybe from a roll. Like if you're from a roll, you better hit your shift points and you better not miss a shift. It's got to be on point. But that 10 or 80 car is going to be right at your fucking door the whole time. I got you, Insane Mustang says. See you then. You didn't answer the first part, though. Are stock gears the same gears as a kit for the built rear end? I think it's the same thing. I think the Ford Performance gears are similar to what's in their stock. I don't think they have like a completely different set of gear ratio. Like, oh, these are the ones that go in the rear ends from the factory, and this other set is totally different. I think they're all the same. Ford, they have a Ford stamp on them. The aftermarket ones have a Ford stamp on them, so I can't imagine that they're different. Insane Mustang. Michael Charton says, we'll trade toilet paper for Boost. Yeah, I guess toilet paper is at a premium, so be careful out there. Someone said something that, okay, forget it. I'm not even going to mention that channel. Fuck that channel. Ordering a Whipple Stage 2 from a 1080, opting for the 1300s when I go 85, 8 to 900 wheel later. Do I need a BAP until I get a Ford Innovation style fuel system for 85? We do not tune E85 on a BAP. It's just not going to happen, ever. That's a short answer. Just get a fuel system and then think about E85. Until then, don't even think about E85. Thoughts on a Gen 3 SB swap to a Gen 2 TT? SB? Thoughts on a Gen 3 short block swap to a Gen 2 twin turbo car? Have you heard of any longevity issues? No. As long as you get the right head gasket to mate the Gen 2 head into the Gen 3 bottom end, should be okay. 12-to-1 compression, badass shit. Alexander Rocca says A10 for the win. It's tough to beat the A10s. If the guy has E85 and fully bolted on, that bitch is gonna make good jam. Gonna make real good jam. Every single Gen 3 car that has a header, E85, cold air, and ported intake is a 11.2, 11.1, 10.9 car. Every single one I've tuned anyway, or that Lund Racing has tuned. We all tune the same way. I'm a little more aggressive on timing than most because I know what you want. I know you want all the shit. I mean, here's all the shit. Way more than most would. I'm like, fuck it. That's what you want, right? Here you go. Here's all the fucking timing. And, it fucking rolls out. Okay, there you go. You don't need that much timing. I can send you on the base file and it'll be fine. But I say, here, fuck it. Just take more. Shut up. Just so that if you look at a log, you go, God damn, he's giving me all the timing. So that you never come back at me saying, give me more timing. Alex, how much for the Edelbrock when you go sell it? I don't know yet. Let me piece it together. Let me make sure everything goes good at Texas 2K. And we'll see. We'll see what the market bears. I'm not looking to give it away, but I'm going to be very fair about the price. Oh, but you got it for free. No, there's no such thing as free. You promote, you get out there, you build the car, you race the car. That is not free. That costs me money. Matt Toon says, Alex said he was going to have the ugliest car at Texas 2K, and I didn't believe him until the rear wing. That thing is amazing. Jeremiah Camp, what's up, brother? Hey, Alex, built the rear end recommendations for 2011 Paxton GT. Built rear end recommendations. Honestly, you're not going to be a dig guy that much unless you're looking to do dig racing. If you are, Jeremiah Camp, I would do, it's a stick car. See, that's the thing. The way I do it is spool, 33 spline axles, whether you do 9-inch ends or C-clip eliminators, it's up to you, and 5/8 studs, big studs on a stick car. If you don't want to do that, get a true track so you can drive it on the street, 33 spline axles, if they even sell that. So that means you might need a wave track or an S track or a spool at 33 spline, 9-inch ends, 5/8 studs, or C-clip eliminators. That's what I would do if I were you, Jeremiah Camp. And I would actually... Oh, man, you have like a 331 in the back, so that's more of a roll gear. I would actually bump up the gear ratio to maybe a 355 with that setup, and it'll be pretty happy. Bam Bam Flow says, 0 payroll tax coming. I heard that Trump was going to implement a temporary 0% payroll tax. Guys, that means no taxes coming out of your paycheck for the payroll. That I'll take it. Sure. That's why you're going to tune my Coyote, David Martin. Yeah, exactly. Oh, give me all the timing. Just here. What does it take to make a 750 GT500, Alex? Cams, E85, and a 2.4 and a 10%. It'll make 800. It'll make 800 no problem. 750 on pump gas is not something I'm interested in chasing. people go, oh, but I saw this company do it on Boostain. Good for them. If you're going to run on Boostain all the time, then here's more timing on a Boostain tune. It's up to you to add boost, like a 2.4 and a 10%. And Boostain with bunch of timing. If you don't have the right mix of Boostain and you don't mind your spark plugs being brown after a little while, it'll make 750, but not on regular pump gas. I don't think so. Never Let Off says, don't hold back, all the timing. Yeah, like here, fuck it. I'm not interested in going, here's the base file on E85R tune. Here's an E85R tune, see you later. And then you're like, can you do anything more? And then I have to tune it again. So what I do is when I give you an E85R tune, I give you the most timing I think is allowable and semi-safe. And I'm going to go, here you go, buddy. And that's all the timing. So leave me the fuck alone. Don't ever hit me up about more timing because you got all of it. Hey, Alex, any input on welding the tubes in S197? Pulled it out, welded it in the car, jig it. I did it in the car, and I got lucky. Harvey, Hutch's Welding, did it. But I would actually put it in a jig if you want to do it right. Quickstanger says they like your special sauce. There's no special sauce, just more timing. Here's more timing. Honestly, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. The test I've made, it's like a 3 horsepower gain. But it's in transition. When a shift happens and there's more timing down there, and it ramps up, shifts again, and there's more timing down there, the car seems to be pretty happy. Do you offer a cam lope tune for nitrous or boosted cars? Just curious. Yeah, we're starting to offer lope tunes for boosted cars. Understand it's not going to drive well. It's just going to idle well. We do have some pretty good drivability ones for the new GT500. They're pretty great. It chops really hard, and it's super drivable. But it is still something we send a disclaimer with and say it ain't going to drive well, and we're not going to support it if you want it to drive any better. Pragmatic Lunatic says, hey, Alex, are the FIC 1200s decent, or should I spend the cash and get 1300Xs? I think the FICs that we support are 1650s and 1000s. Why? Because the data supplied by them is pretty good. And it actually tunes on the similar side to ID 1000s and ID 1700s. So I would look at those two because I don't know much about the 1200s. I do know that the 1500s seem to be okay, but what Lund Racing specifically supports, 1650s and the 1000s. Don't ask why. That's what we support. Thank you. 3 Valve Eric says, you had an S197 car for a while. In your opinion, where do you think the S197 chassis needs some improvements, mostly based on your experiences? It's actually pretty stiff. It doesn't need much. It doesn't need a subframe connector. It doesn't need anything like that. Those cars just with power, a lot of power and a good rear suspension setup from any of the big guys. Team Z, UPR, Steeda, those guys. I would mention the other one, but I'm just not going to mention that company anymore. Fuck them. It does well. It doesn't need that much in terms of a drag race setup, and it's becoming really popular. I think that's going to be the new Fox body. It's going to be the new Fox body. There's going to be so many S197 cars out there from 05 to 14, same chassis, but the 13, 14s look beautiful. In my opinion, that's like the 92, 93 GT of the future. Just a very nice looking car, easily upgradable, can make it fast real easy. Everyone and their mom has them. So I'd love to pick one up one day. I heard my old one is for sale. Paul Monaco is out there selling it. I'd love to be able to buy it back, but I just don't have the dough. And, you know, hopefully he gets what he wants for it. I'd love to buy it back, but just don't have the dough right now. Alexander Rocca says, are the 355s much better than the 315 in an A10 car and have the SCT tuner? Is that fine? Do I gain much with the Engage? You don't gain anything with the Engage in terms of gaining. It's easier to log. It's easier to load a file. It's easier, period. But you're not going to get more power based on a different tuning device. 355s are okay. I think if you make the car light, 315s are pretty damn stout. I don't think you need to change the gear on an A10 car. Unless you want to keep the car fat and heavy, and then you need the 355s for a little mechanical advantage. YouTube Corrupt Anti-Free Speech says, so do I need the BAP for Whipple Stage 2 on pump gas with ID 1300? Sorry, just trying to clarify. Yes, you need a BAP. Hey, Alex, 13550 tune by Lund. How often do you recommend revision for standalone E85 tune? Standalone E85 tune, meaning a dedicated E85 tune. Been about 3 years, so we'll go flex this time around. Thank you. How often do you recommend a revision? Once a tune is dialed in, it's done, and it's up to you to make sure you have 85% ethanol in the car. So there isn't a constant revising that needs to be done, especially on Gen 1 cars. Kyle Gudenkoff says, built bottom end Gen 1 with a Gen 2 VMP and a 72mm pulley and 85 made 724 real horsepower. That's kind of low, honestly. That's really low. What kind of horsepower bump would you get going Gen 3? Unless it's an auto. If it's an auto, that's about right. What kind of horsepower bump would I get going Gen 3 69mm pulley and has the supporting fuel system and free-flowing exhaust? Donnie's 5.0 with cams. It had NA comp cams, made 830, PMAS 149, monoblade, 69mm pulley, stock lower, VMP Gen 2, untouched, 830. So I'm not saying you're going to make 100 more, but that's what he made with cams. So you should make high 7s, low 8s pretty easily. You ever plan on coming to your home track, Lebanon Valley? That's not my home track. Fuck you. My home track. No, because Lebanon Valley, there's no allure. You know, well, why am I going to go there? Who am I going to see? Who's going to see me there? No, there's no reason to go to that track. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, eastern New York State. It's not particularly popular track. It's not awesome. The people in that area weren't awesome. You know, it's not like they hold badass events there. I have Orlando Speed World, Bradenton, Palm Beach International, and South Georgia Motorsports Park, all within 5 hours of me. So it's kind of hard to justify going to Lebanon Valley. What do you think of meth on top of the Pro Charger kit, Alex? Works fine. Get that sucker in there. I have it go, I think, pre-math? And let it just do its thing. Fuck it. So that the math could read IAT drop. Be like, oh, hey, it's happy. Let me add a bunch of timing. Fuck it. Oh, if you do it post math, then the computer has no way of seeing any kind of cooling or octane effect or anything. So you're just trusting that it's being injected in there. Thoughts on an MMR long block for an 18 F-150? I'm not going to comment on that. I think he said it's going back to mass. Oh, really? God, poor car. That car, I need to save it again, but it's past. I'm starting to not care anymore. That car had good bones. Look, what I hope that happens with that car is the new owner picks it up and goes, it's got a T56. It doesn't drive. The seat sucks. And I don't like this car. Let me sell it for 16 grand. Then the next guy goes, yeah, I don't like this either. It's got slicks, Forge stars, Willwood brakes. I don't like this fucking thing either. 14 grand. That's when I'll start looking at that car. That car is worth 14 grand to me. You might be able to get good money for it, but to me, knowing what's in that car, I know what's in that car. 14 grand. Jeremiah Camp's paying attention to that car because it literally mimics his car. Okay. Paul Monaco says, yeah, unfortunately stuff happens and I have to downsize my 4-car fleet right now. The car is sold, actually heading back to Massachusetts. Badass, Paul Monaco. Congrats on getting what you got for it. If the guy gets sick of it and doesn't do anything to it and doesn't, blow it up and he wants to sell it for about 14, I'd be interested. YouTube Curl Panther Free Speech says, thanks for all the information you give us, brother. Learn more from you in a few months than I learned from years of watching those bullshit YouTubers. Really appreciate you. The YouTubers, I think, do a good job of showing you what they have, right? They'll say, well, I bought a turbo car and I'm going to blow it up. And they blow it up. And I bought a turbo GT350 and I'm going to blow it up. And I blow it up. And I rebuilt the engine at some podunk shop and I'm going to blow it up. And they blow it up. That's fine. And they make good money. They make really good money just blowing shit up. They have to because the overhead is high, right? A car-centric channel, the overhead is massive. It is a car. It's a fucking car, right? That's why I started the dating channel. Hopefully my advice can make me some money. Maybe not. Cool. But the overhead is high. Well, on this channel, it is all information. I am just giving you information based on my personal experience in the industry for about 5 or 6 years. So that's kind of what I'm going off of. And it's making me, a lot of people look at my channel and they say, you don't have the subscribers, you don't have the views, you don't have anything. But if you were to put up what I'm getting out of this channel versus what they're getting out of their channels, and it is just a one-man show, it is just me, I'm the only guy getting a cut from anything from YouTube, I probably do okay. But I don't pop off and buy badass shit and show you that I have badass shit. The Fairmont is a car that took blood, sweat, and tears and money from my actual day job, because I do have a day job. That is my main source of income. This is just fuck around money. that was built by me, and I paid for the red car. I'm still paying for the red car. That was I should have never bought that car, but it got me somewhere, and I learned a lot, and it got me into the Fairmont. Got the Fairmont running quickly, easier. But all the YouTube channels are just going to show you what they have. I bought a racetrack. I'm going to jump out of a plane. I'm gonna box somebody. It's just entertainment, and take it for what it's worth. Stoneface says, built Gen 1 auto, Whipple Gen 3, 17 PSI and 85. How much power? I don't know. 17 PSI, Whipple Gen 3 auto, probably close to 900, no? Like high 800s. 14 PSI, 15 PSI makes about, mid to high sevens. Mid to high sevens through a manual. So through an auto and 3 more PSI, you're probably going to be well into the 8s. I don't know who's tuning it. I would say well into the 8s, depending how much timing they're getting out of the car. Had just picked up a 2013 Super Snake. Got any recommendations on a tuner? New to the Mustang world, out of Canada, so trying to figure it out before I haul it across the border. How about just enjoy the Super Snake for a little while? John Stewart. Just enjoy it, dude. You don't have to tune it. You have to do nothing. Just fucking relax, calm down, drive the car. Drive it. Drive it for a while. Drive for a year. Don't tune it. Just drive it. Then you're going to go, it's actually pretty good. It's doing what I need it to do. I go get ice cream and I just hang out. Or if you're like, I want to race this motherfucker now, see if there's anywhere it can be improved, then start looking into a tuner. But I work for Lund, obviously. So if you want to tune the car, you want my advice on tuning the car, you get a Lund tune. Plain and simple. Okay, guys, I've been on for an hour and a half. I have to drive to Houston now. That's right. I am going to get in a truck right now, get E85 in the Fairmont, get gas in the truck because I took a nap earlier, and I'm going to just drive 15 hours straight. I might take a nap along the way. So if you see me along Route 10, say hi, but don't be fucking weird. Don't do anything stupid. Don't stick out the window flipping your hat thinking I'm going to like that. Be a normal bro and say hi once in a while. Just don't be a fucking sicko fanboy. So I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You guys have done amazing today. Not a lot of viewers, but it seems like the support is right there. I have like a core set of viewers that seem to just constantly support the channel and really do me a big solid to, bring you some good content based on the support. And I'm going to do my best to get you as much content as possible at TX2k, see what I can get into out there. Thank you guys for, wishing me a safe trip. I will try, depending if it's slow or not, Thursday, to get you on the dating channel, to get you a live stream. I don't think I'm going to monetize that because I'm not looking for money out of that guy, but because that channel has now been monetized. Thanks for all the supporters that got out there and monetized that channel. And just to get my face out there, and I'll try to bring you videos. If I can get you videos edited and uploaded on this channel during Texas 2K, like day 1, day 2, day 3 type shit, I'll do it for you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later.